Hello and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly and I am so thrilled to see you only a week after I last filmed. I have had a pretty busy week, I would say, filled with lots of friends and a lot of visiting, a fair bit of knitting. I've cast on a new project that has stolen my heart. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I have started knitting a new shawl and I can't put it down. I am enjoying knitting it so much. So I've been knitting the Color Craze Shawl by Tammy Gore, and I went to knitting night last night. I met with my friend Anna, and it was just strange leaving the home with a basket. I have never, at least since I can remember, carried my knitting inside of a basket. I've always had, some sort of standard project bag, at least as an adult. I don't even remember having project bags other than the plastic bags that they give you from the store to carry my knitting projects and things like that. And they were probably just laying around my bedroom when I was younger. So I am working on the Color Craze Shawl by Tammy Gore, and I'm realizing as I am telling you this, that I'm in the middle of a row. I stopped. Knit night closes at 10 o'clock, and we were really cutting it close to the 10 o'clock number. I think we were definitely the last in the shop, and I just plopped this back in my basket, and I didn't realize that I'm only halfway into the row. So this is the Color Craze Shawl by Tammy Gore. I wish so badly that I could show it to you, on an open needle. So first, let me tell you a little bit about the shawl. This shawl calls for 900 yards of yarn, and it calls for one main color and then 4 contrasting colors. I've been dyeing up these mini skein sets, and they've been so much fun to dye and really great palette cleansers. It's something that I dye, and I dye a bunch of the same set. I don't write it down, and then when I'm ready to dye a new set, I decide what colors I want to dye and kind of go off of whatever inspiration is going on in my mind, whatever music I'm listening to, whatever I see outside. Now, I've only dyed 3 of these mini sets, but that's usually how I will dye up 20-gram mini sets and random mini skein sets for the shop. But with these in particular, that has been so much fun to do. So the mini skein set that I chose is called our Petals set. I did not bring a package up with me, but there definitely is some in the shop. I have knit with 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on to the 5th color. Yes. And I'm just fading it really nicely as I knit it. So I put it in an order that I liked, that was pleasing to my eye. You can arrange these however you would like, of course. And I chose a main color, which is our Passenger colorway by a Homespun house. I'm knitting this out of our merino cashmere nylon base, and I'm going to knit the entire shawl with our Fresh Sheets silky mohair. That's a 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. I thought that would just tie the colorways really beautifully together. So every time it says contrasting color, I'm not paying attention to whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. I am just adding in the colorway as they come. So the first colorway in the Petals set, I am knitting until it is completely gone. And then I add in the second colorway, third colorway, all the way up until the 10th. I will do that whenever it calls for a contrasting color. So I've been really enjoying that. And I actually love the way that the colorways are knitting up on both sides. Here you can see the contrasting colors a bit more dominantly on the other side. Again, you can't see it that well because of the fact that I'm in the middle of a row, but this is such a luxurious knit. It's so much fun, and I love just having that pop of cashmere in the shawl. The mini skein sets are plump merino, and I've been receiving some emails about this, wondering if you can mix different bases together. You can't even tell inside of the shawl. If you didn't know, you would think that they were knit on the same exact base. So I've mixed the cashmere with the merino, with the mohair silk, and then of course with that plum merino of the Petals mini skein set. So I am enjoying this. It's so nice because I have so many different colorways to constantly add. There are so many different stitches. There's garter stitch, there's brioche, there's really, really simple yarn over sections. And then always the color change. So this has not gotten boring, and I don't think it will get boring. I think this is something that I will knit on until it's finished. And then, oh my goodness. So last night at knit night, my friend Anna was knitting on the Suburban Wrap by Joji Locatelli, and she was using pretty much the same color. I'm going to go ahead and knit on this while I speak with you guys. There's probably about 200 stitches left to knit, so I can't imagine that I will get through this while telling the shortest anecdote ever. So it's not even an anecdote. But she was knitting on the Suburban Wrap, and she was using the same sort of color inspiration that Joji used in her shawl. So it was a light gray, a really creamy, very, very pale beigey pink. And then she was using my favorite color, which is this beautiful heathered rosy pink. And I've seen pictures of the shawl. Again, it's the sample knit. It's when you see the knit in person that it just sells the item for you. And seeing her knit on it, she was probably 3/4 of the way finished with the wrap. Oh my goodness, it inspired me so much to knit this wrap. I think that this is going to have to be my second knit, or I'm maybe going to have to ask a sample knitter to knit one up for the shop. It could have just been that, you know, she had my favorite pinky colorway in there, which definitely helps when you see a sample in your favorite colors. It lets you imagine wearing it, and oh, it was just so beautiful. But speaking of sample knitters, I talked about Tristan Molina last episode from Dragon Horde Yarns. She has a podcast, Girls in the Yarn Cafe, with her mom, who does Yarn Cafe Creations. And she just came out with a new pullover design called the Spellman sweater. It is inspired by Sabrina, The Chilling Tales of Sabrina, I think it's called, on Netflix. I've never watched it, but you ladies are definitely inspiring me also to go ahead and watch that series. It seems like you love it. The knitwear sounds like it's fantastic, being that it has mohair and everything, which I'm in love with lately. So anyway, she came out with this new pullover design called the Spellman sweater. And I think it came out yesterday on the 1st of March. And you guys, it is so beautiful. It is so simplistic, elegant. It's a very, very, I feel like everyday wear, sort of cropped. You could lengthen it if you wanted, pull over. And then it has the most beautiful little cable down the shoulder to the sleeve, to your wrist, and very minimal baubles. I feel like it's something that is a classic design while it does have baubles. And it's just so beautiful. So I've been kind of planning colorways in my head and thinking about, I'll definitely knit that in a tonal. It's something that I've been thinking about, how I want to knit that pullover up and what colorway I want to use for it. I'm thinking I might go ahead and possibly use Deegan, because she knit up one in a colorway very, very similar to this. I use this as the mohair in my everyday slouchy beanie, which is also a design by Christina Molina and Tristan Molina. Why did I just say Christina? And yeah, so I love this. There is some of this in the shop. People have been having questions about that. And I'm going to share with you all of the mohair currently in the shop and all of the mohair that will be in the shop this Wednesday, because goodness gracious, there is a lot of mohair coming to the shop. Okay, so back to the Color Craze Shawl by Tammy Gore. And I'm almost finished with this row, which is quite exciting. Not finished enough though to show you it as an open piece. So just this much left. I'm going to go ahead and put that away and show you two other ideas of Color Craze shawls that I currently have in the shop if you guys are wanting to knit one yourself. So I do have this set of 10 gram minis. This is our jewel set. And I think that this set would pair beautifully with Comfy Sofa. Now you could add this with quite a lot of different tonals. I think it would look beautiful with lavender fields. It would look beautiful with fresh sheets. I have a lot of different tonals that you could use based upon just colorway preference. I mean, if you want to go more of the blue route, you could use fishbowl. Or you can just email me if you're looking for something. You can just email me and I'm always happy to send color inspiration. But I thought that Comfy Sofa looked so beautiful with this set. So the other idea I have is my rustic minis. And this one would be so gorgeous with Be Quiet and Drive. And I think that paired along with rose gold would be absolutely scrumptious. So Be Quiet and Drive is a colorway that I have just added on all bases to the shop. It was running low and someone knit, I think a Tanya or someone knit a Caitlin Hunter sweater with this and it looked so beautiful. I know that doesn't help you at all, but for that one person who knit it, I love your pullover. It's absolutely stunning. I've been working a little bit on my no frills pullover out of our Fresh Sheets colorway along with our Nurture colorway. So I'm working down the sleeve and I have probably done about 5 inches on the sleeve and that's about it. Once I started knitting the Color Craze shawl, that was it for me, and that's all that I've wanted to knit since I cast it on. It has been that enjoyable. I have been enjoying it so much. But I wanted to thank you for all of the comments that you left me about my rolling hem of my no frills pullover. So Melissa from Espace Tricot that I talked about had knit a pullover, the same sort of style at the bottom. Melissa commented on the episode and said, steam it, block it. I promise you it will all work out. So I'm trusting you. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, which was what I think I have to try it anyway. It was so much knitting. There are so many stitches on the needles. I really don't want to go ahead and rip it back. But again, if it doesn't work out, it was so much knitting that it's definitely worth it to go ahead and rip it out if it rolls way too much. But I'm loving the color combination of this. It's so pretty. It is definitely colorway that I love, and I think it's something that will be a very, very wearable piece for me. And I think it will be extremely warm for our next winter because spring is 3 weeks away. What that means, I don't know, because we still have snow all over the ground. It's so much different because I work from home. My husband is a stay-at-home dad. We don't have to go anywhere unless we want to, other than driving the girls to and from school. So on snowy days, we can really just hibernate inside and work and make warm and cozy foods and read and knit and play. So I've been really enjoying and haven't been negatively affected by the snow at all. I've really been enjoying it. And I think it makes it extra special because our family, my husband is German, And he's lived in Germany all of his life, other than when we moved into our new home this past late summer, fall. And snow is so not normal in Berlin. In the 10 years that I lived there, we had one great snowfall. So we have been, and he as well, really, really enjoying the snow. And we have the best sledding hill ever. The neighbors come over and we go sledding pretty much every day. If friends are over, they bring their sleds and we go sledding together, or they use ours. We have plenty to go around. And it's just fantastic. As I'm talking right now, I am daydreaming about going for a walk out in the weather right now. It's a gray day, which again doesn't bother me at all. It's so bright because the snow is so reflective that it just makes it look so bright outside. I love the sun too, but gray days are okay. If there's a lot of snow, if it's wet and damp, and just kind of muddy looking outside, too many gray days I'm not a fan of. But while it's snowy and the snow is falling and it's not too slippery, I really enjoy it. So this is bringing me off topic, but as I'm speaking about winter, I wanted to share with you this book by Emily Foden called Knits About Winter. This is a book that I have seen kind of flying around for quite some time. I believe it came out a while ago. It is put out by Pom Pom. And I guess it's not so important when it came out, but I think it came out last year. And I had forgotten about it. And then I visited Firefly Fibers 2 weeks ago now. And I had seen this book there. It was the last one. And I brought it to their work table. And I just sat down, had some moments alone, browsed through this book. And it honestly, don't laugh at me, it put me at peace. It was such a fantastic, grounding book to look at. The photographs, the imagery are so beautiful and stunning and thoughtfully taken. All of the pieces are so simplistic and classic again and beautiful. Everything is so natural, the way that the women in the book are photographed and the children. And it isn't a book geared towards children. I think there's 3 tops photographs of children wearing sweet little pairs of socks. And I'm not a person who generally buys knitting books, but I felt compelled to buy this book. It is so beautiful. And the little stories in here, just the entire graphic design of the book, the layout, the way that it was put together, all of the beautiful illustrations. I cannot recommend this book enough. I think there's one pattern in this book that I don't feel compelled to knit. But other than that, wow, this collection is stunning. I'm sure that you can have a browse through Ravelry, but there's nothing like having this book in your hands. It is a beautiful, beautiful book. If I could recommend one book, one knitting book, if you like simplistic, very natural, gosh, I don't even know. This is the one. I love it. It is definitely a treat to sit and look through. So on the topic of books, one of my amazing friends, Amber Crawley, has written and published her first YA young adult book. So this is a nonfiction book, and it is wonderful. She currently has in her shop just the books, and you can get them signed by Amber. She's currently working on the second book for On Luna Time. This is a to be continued book. There will be another one, or you can get a book box. And this is something that I knew I needed to treat myself to. Amber from Maker's Haven, she has a podcast, she has a yarn shop. Of course, you can buy her books via her shop on Amazon, but I feel like it's the nicest to support her via her shop. And the book boxes are really special because they come with yarn. So as knitters, that's absolutely wonderful. And everything is individually wrapped very, very beautifully and thoughtfully, as is everything Amber does. And there is a little note on each of the packages that say when to open them. So when you're reading the book, you can open it on page 68. You can open it on page 27, on page 120, so on and so forth. So it is definitely a really, really fun journey to take with that book box. And it is very affordable. After opening my little gifts and reading through the book, I felt like the book box was just a steal. So if you can afford it, if you can get it, if you're interested in young adult books, I definitely recommend treating yourself to On Luna Time by Amber Crawley. It's really, really wonderful. The things that I want to show you now are some of the yarns in my shop. I have been really, really working on stocking all of the mohair. So I've been slowly adding speckled mohair to the shop, but one thing that I really wanted to focus on last week was tonal mohair colors. So currently we have a little bit of tonal mohair in the shop. I think we probably have about 15 colorways. This week by Wednesday, we will have between 40 and 50 mohair tonals in the shop. And I'll share that with you via Instagram. You can see it on my stories as they come into the shop. So we of course have fresh sheets in the shop. I don't have a skein of that. We have Deegan, which I've knit in my everyday slouchy beanie, and I might knit my Spellman sweater with. Fishbowl, Ditzy, and I have all of these colorways on tonal. I feel like just tonal bases, not mohair, but also, you know, DK weight, fingering. And I feel like these three pair so well together. That would make a really, really fun project. We have Lavender Fields, Sunflower. Someone is knitting a no frills with this right now. Scandinavia. Quite a bit of blue, green choices in the shop right now. Minty. And I'm starting to create a section with just mohair. So if you go to the shop and go to yarn, there will be a drop down bar and you can just click on mohair. Some of these colorways will not be in the shop. If you click on that drop down menu, you're going to actually have to go to the colorway, and those being Deegan, Sunflower, Blackberry Jam, but these will all be slowly added to the mohair selection. And I'm going to completely revamp the site so that it's so much easier for use once I get back from the knit-in. I think that's definitely a necessity right now. Silver. And Tulle Skirt. All of these are in the shop for adding to hats, shawls, pullovers. And then some yarns that I wanted to feature are two brand new colorways. So this first one is called Stardust. My mom named this one. Puddle Jumper is not a new colorway. I'm not sure if I showed this last week. I added it to the shop last week. but I wanted to share it because I know a lot of people have been asking for it. It's Okay to Be Alone, one of my favorite colorways. It's so beautiful. Unicorn Dust. This is another new colorway. And then Bitten. This is a skein of our bulky weight, and I'm thinking I want to make, oh goodness, here I was just talking about Espace Tricot, and I can't remember the name of the hat. There is an Aran weight hat, and I feel like this bulky is definitely, Aran and bulky are so similar. I think I'll just knit the smallest size of the hat. And goodness, you guys, I don't know. Anyway, it's a beautiful hat knit with Aran weight yarn. It just has a simple ribbing, a humongous fur pom-pom at the top. If you go to Espace Tricot, their designs, you will definitely find it and know exactly what I'm talking about. So I had a visitor this week who looked at this yarn and had that hat on, and I thought, if you're not gonna knit it, I'm going to. So yeah, I love this. And I think it would make a perfect big hat. Fantastic. We do have some clubs currently in the shop. On Monday, I will be closing up the March yarn and charm clubs. That's with Sucre Sucre Miniatures, as are all of the charm clubs that we have in the shop. And this one is kind of going to be all of my favorite colors in a yarn. So for those of you who have an idea of what my favorite colors are, and they're your favorite colors too, don't miss out on this one. It might even be dyed up on my favorite base, maybe. So yeah, we have sock sets, 100-gram sets, and you can choose the charm option for that if you would like. We do already have April yarn clubs in the shop, and this is a yarn club where I've started doing something that I haven't done before with my yarn clubs, and I'm definitely going to be doing in the future. So this time you can now choose if you want fingering weight or DK weight for your club, and you can choose if you would like a sock set in fingering or a DK weight. So if you get the DK weight, it's a 100-gram skein of DK weight yarn, and then a 20-gram skein of DK weight yarn. So you can kind of choose what you want based upon what sort of yarn you need in your life, because I know so many people have fingering weight skeins of yarns. They subscribe to these clubs, and a lot of them, like mine have been, are just fingering weight yarns. And people email me all the time asking, please, please, can we do a DK weight version in your clubs? So now it's being offered. I hope that you guys love it. And there is also an option for 5 20-gram minis each month. I hope that you guys love that change. It was lovely to chat with you guys. I'm so happy to see you so soon, and I hope that you have a fantastic week ahead.